Very proud of this council of coming forward and to publicly condemn violence in politics. Yesterday, I got to talk to the Charter Review yesterday, and I touched a little bit about how important it is for the people to have a voice. And I saw it when I was in Iraq of how humans really want to have a voice, where they had their first open and free elections. And on the day of people going to those election polls all across the country, the opposition folks were blowing those poll stations up and killing dozens and dozens and dozens of people. But the people still showed up because they wanted their voice. That's the most extreme part of violence. And it's nothing good. And I know about this as being in the military. I know what it looks like. I know what it smells like. I know what it sounds like. And it's not good. But we don't have to go that far to look at another country. We can just look at our own history, where violence replaced dialogue and civility. You go back to the Civil War, where 600,000 people were killed during that war. Brother against brother, the communities were destroyed. And it just reminds us of the cost of, political discord that is left unchecked. Fast forward to 1968, that was marked by a lot of violence, starting with the assassination of Martin Luther King, and then Senator John F. Kennedy, and they were assassinated. That year, there was banks and institutions that were bombed. I mean, there was a lot of violence. There's people here who probably remember that year. It shook this country, and it left deep scars. And so at that time, there was an urgent need for leadership, and the leadership needed some vision at that time, and it needed dialogue and respect for the rule of law. And I don't know if they got it there, but I mean, that was an example of, a lot of violence. But I'd also like to take a time to take a look at and talk about the silent majority. At the time in 1968, there was a silent majority also, and they were the quiet voices, and they were the great majority of Americans who chose not to shout. They chose not to demonstrate violently, but they were forgotten. And, there are those same people today. There's that silent majority who just wants to live in a safe and nonviolent community. So we can't forget that demographic. We have people on both sides of the aisle that are really extreme in their views, and sometimes that's the only people we hear. But we can't forget about that silent majority who just wants peace and safety. Political violence has no place here in Pierce County, and it erodes trust and threatens lives. And I'm just really proud of us all coming together and publicly announcing that there's no place for that here in this county or in this country. So thank you, Chair.